I am back. I know you guys probably didn't think I would be back so soon, but yet here I am. And I wouldn't be the ultimate plug if I didn't, before I start, plug my rose oil, which has been doing really well. I've been selling it now for the last year and a half, going on year and a half. I mean, I can't say enough. I'm going to be sharing some testimonials on the Instagram, so you guys can check that out. But I, 3 years ago, wanted to work on some things and improve my self-care. I wanted to do things more naturally, things that were healthier for me, healthier for the environment. And I wanted to enrich my skin and soften my skin. But I didn't feel confident in products that were made store, that are sold in the stores, right? So I did some research as a nurse. I went in, did some research, and I found that rose oil, of course, is definitely linked to the improvement in aesthetics and beauty for multiple reasons. We know that roses are given, of course, in love, so they have a healing property, right? They're also anti-inflammatory, right? So through the process that I use of extracting from real roses, the oil, Sweet Promise Oil de Rose, is compounded. Of course, the oil is from Italy, 100% cold pressed grapeseed oil, and so it doesn't clog your pores. If you can see my face, I use it on my face a couple times a day. It keeps it aglow. I use it as a primer. I use it in my hair, on my skin, on my feet, just all over my body. And of course, it's therapeutic grade, jasmine, vanilla, orange. And if you go on my Instagram, you'll see what all of those nutrients will do to your skin as well. So just had to want to give up a quick plug, Sweet Promise Oil de Rose. I'll put the link in this video, and I'll also put the Instagram for y'all to go ahead and follow. So now that we got the housekeeping out the way, I just wanted to have a quick chat with you guys because I had something happen. So the last video that I posted, I posted that video and went and sat down and wanted to talk about, my celibacy, because it's something that, of course, I think about on a day-to-day basis, right? Of course, like I said before, the intimacy and all that, I don't have to go and rehash it, right? So I got some negative comments. I had people in my inbox saying that I'm average at best, saying that, because I have kids, that, all kinds of things, telling me to go to the gym. So I'm guessing that some of the things that I said was triggering, but in order for you to understand someone and their perspective, you have to kind of know who they are, the things that they've experienced, and then you would ultimately be able to make an educated guess on the type of person that they are. So my apologies for not allowing everyone to have a full understanding of who I am as a person and where I've come from. So I thought it would be a good time to kind of explain who I am and a little bit about the experiences that I've had in life so that I can connect with people in a better way and so that they can understand the point of view in which I'm expressing my opinions or how I feel, right? So, hi, my name is Sanara. How are you? I am 41, a mother of 2 children that are currently college age, 20, 21. How are you? I was born and raised in South Philadelphia, and the best cultural experience a person could have when you look at culturally, right? I lived in a diverse neighborhood with people of all different races, nationalities, background. It was a melting pot, right? So in that aspect of culturally, it was beautiful. And why I am as tolerant as I am and the views I have is because I was and went to school with people that were African American. I went to school with Caucasian. I went to school with Italians. I went to school with Vietnamese. I went to school with Cambodian kids. I went to school with Chinese. Like, we were all in the same elementary school. But on the opposite side, right? Of course, it was strong in cultural, in as far as cultural impact. It was also strong in community, right? Because even though the community that I lived in was a poor community where people struggled on a day-to-day basis, the sense of community in those types of community is stronger, I feel, than any other sense of community anywhere in this world, right? So that was also a positive experience. But some of the negative experiences that I've experienced in my life is, violence, drugs, abuse being normalized, drugs being normalized. So I might have to edit what I just said out because I realized that some of the language that I'm saying might not be good, right? So what I was saying is there are things that are normalized in the community that I lived in that is looked at as very damaging to any human being that would go through those experiences, right? And I can't go too in detail, but I need y'all to read between the lines, right? So I was in my first act when I was 10 years old. So being a 10-year-old and being a product of or being in the middle of someone trying to unalive someone else is very traumatizing, right? Also being a 16-year-old and having to witness the scream of a mother when her 3-year-old was unalive in an unintentional act of such, that is when I started having my anxiety, because as a kid who had won science fairs, who was loving, giving, to feel like they're not even safe to go to the store. And I remember being as young as 10 and being afraid to go to the corner store at the corner of my street to get groceries, milk, bread, stuff like that, because I was afraid of something happening to me, and having to go through things like that, like I've discussed on many videos before, in that traumatic stage or developmental stages, in life is a lot for any human being, right? So I've experienced that. I've also experienced going into boarding school in high school. And as a kid, let's not take away from the fact that I was afraid of things unintentionally happen, being in the middle of something that I had no business or inadvertently being in, right? But I also had to go to school every day and be bullied, chased home, had bottles thrown at me, for the only reason other that they could give me was that I think I know it all, or because I was smart, or because I used to be excited to learn. I'm sorry, I was a nerd, y'all. I was a nerd. I had these big glasses. I was a nerd, and like vile things, happening to me, just trying to walk home from school every day and having kids treat me. They treated me, even had to go to court because they ran up into my house one day, so of course by high school age I was ready to do something different. I went away to boarding school, got accepted, and lived in a wonderful, beautiful school with a diverse group of people, but got a scholarship, went away to college, and wound up getting pregnant my first year of college. So I became a mom at a very young age. And then, surprise, surprise, I was a mom of two, And that's a whole nother story on how that happened. But that as a young age and having to be in survival mode because their father also was not, able to co-parent successfully because of the issues that he's had, right? So ultimately the responsibility has always been on me to be that parent that provided, right? And so the stresses that I have on a day-to-day basis, or the lens in which I look at things, I feel is different because I'm looking at things from a standpoint of I've been through so much. It's not anything that I feel like I can't accomplish. God has really taken me through and been there through some of the darkest moments and been there with me in the darkest moments in my life. So it's nothing that anyone can do or take from me, because I know that that's the source. The source ain't here. The source is there. You know what I mean? God is the source. So I'm looking at that lens. I'm looking through that. I'm looking through the lens of I never wanted my kids to experience the fear that I had at a young age, and that's why I work so hard. I never want my kids to see me settle in a relationship where their mom is not happy. That's why I made the decisions that I made. When I got a divorce almost 4 years ago, it wasn't for me. It was for the fact that I was miserable and my kids deserve a mom that wasn't miserable. Now, has there still been times where I was miserable in life? Yes. It's not directly linked to that person, but when you're in a situation and you feel like you've done all that you can, you're not going to stay there to prove what point are you proving? I always wanted to be an example, so that is the lens at which I'm looking for something. I'm looking at through things the lens of someone who has always been underestimated, undervalued, and been the underdog. But just like my birds, I'm going to bring home the championship ring. Don't play with me. You know what I'm saying? Just like K-Dot, baby. I'm going to come out swinging every time. So if you want to be an adversary, be an adversary. You know what I mean? It's going to get us nowhere because, like I said, I'm from a place where I can see a con coming. I can play along with it. You know what I mean? You're playing checkers and I'm playing operation. I just said that to one of my friends. Like, you're sitting there thinking you're playing me and I'm literally cutting myself away from the situation. And by the time you realize that I'm out, boo, you know what I'm saying? Because I know what I deserve. And so that's the guys in which I'm looking at things. I am confident in myself because, like I said, when you've gone through the things that I've gone through, my power and my strength, I know it's not just from me. So if it bothers you, maybe it's something that you need to look at yourself. At least that's what I do. Anything that triggers me, I always look and say, okay, what is it in me that I need to work on, or why is that bothering me? You know what I mean? So that's what true growth is. I just wanted to give a quick little insight about who I am. Where I want to go is up. Where I'm going to go is up. You feel what I'm saying? And if you want to work and be in alignment and do the right thing with me, I'm a great person. I go above and beyond for people who I know would do just the same. I don't tolerate, people being disrespectful. I'm not going to disrespect myself, and I'm not going to let you disrespect me either. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm trying to carry myself like a lady. So anyway, I just want to hop on real quick, give y'all a little insight of who I am, just so y'all can know what's going on. And it doesn't bother me, you know what I mean? That it didn't bother me to the fact that it hurt me internally. I thought it was like, wow, like we got a lot more work to do. It's just evidence that we got a lot more work to do. But I'm willing to do the work. I hope y'all are too. I just wanted to hop in real quick, say hey, hope y'all blessed, you know what I mean? Don't be ashy. Make sure y'all get my oil. I'll let y'all later, boo.